and paragraph 1 of Exhibit 2. You put the two together and concluded that the whole idea of the expatriate awards started from the presidency. Did I hear you right?
Mr. Chairman, I was making reference to the inconsistencies. Because if in one paragraph you said, upon conception of the novel idea, the foundation informed the government through the presidency. This is Ministry of Trade statement. Now you come again in paragraph 1 of the 21st, which is SB2 here, to say that neither His Excellency, the President, nor any official of the presidency, directly or indirectly, or even remotely, was connected with the said event. It creates doubts on my mind. Because if you had even said, stop at the president, because I could say that the presidency involved a lot of people, and it could be possible that some discussion might have been held at other levels that the president didn't know. But to say that the presidency, whether direct or indirect, or even remotely, when in the same ministry statement you say the whole idea started with the government through the presidency, I said that that created doubt for me, and therefore we needed to be able to establish that beyond reasonable doubt.
You see, you went round before coming to answer my question. My question was, did you say the whole idea started with the presidency? Now, the last bit of your answers that it confirms it. If you read paragraph 3, upon the conception of the novel idea, the foundation informed the government. So who started the whole idea with this phrase in paragraph?
Mr. Chairman, with a greater respect, if you stop at government, it doesn't give the full meaning because they said through the presidency. So you may be talking about the whole idea, someone whispering to somebody in government and said that, oh, it's a very nice idea, so let's go and talk to Minister of Trade.
So upon your own reading and understanding, when you say upon the conception of the idea, the foundation informed the government, who conceived the idea?
Obviously, the conception of the idea was the foundation.
So
from the test.
So the government couldn't have started the whole idea about the event?
Mr. Chairman, with a greater respect, if the government had not agreed to work with the foundation, the program probably wouldn't have been held.
So the government started it?
Talking about who started. You are talking about the conceptualization of the idea. And I said that, yes, this test tells all of us that the conceptual idea started with the foundation. And I want to also believe that when you do your investigation, all these things will come to bear. That's why I was saying the confusion. Because on one breath, you said there are no link. On another breath, you said the idea was with the foundation through the presidency. So I believe that this committee will be able to establish beyond reasonable doubt who started the whole thing. Which role did everybody play?
You have told this committee that you use levy in a generic form because we were not too sure, and you wanted to be sure that what you wanted to carry across was captured. Is that right?
This is in reference to the motion. Because remember, we needed to have a motion to be able to convince enough members of parliament to support the creation of this committee. So in trying to do that, I wanted to be broad enough in presenting my arguments on the floor to warrant that majority of members of parliament will agree that, oh yes, with this, let's form a committee. So that was the reason why I couched my motion the way it is. And thank God, I'm happy that it has led to the formation of this committee that will be able to find all the facts in relation to the matter that is of public interest.
So are you abandoning the idea of a levy in your motion?
I'm not, because with the greater respect, Chairman, I don't think this committee is interrogating my motion that Parliament has approved and debated, upon which this committee is set up. I thought the committee is interrogating...
Muntaka, is the basis for which we are here.
No problem.
And the evidence you have given to us as a committee is what I'm interrogating you about. You have said that you use levy in a generic form. You didn't use generic when we were moving the motion there. You have said it here, and I'm asking you a question relating to that. You were not sure of what you were asking for.
Mr. Chairman, I was very sure of what I was asking for. That was why I told you that collection is there. And on the floor of Parliament, nobody sought to ask about the usage of levy. I will have explained on the floor, because it was not an issue on the floor. The motion was moved and seconded, and others even contributed. So for me, yes, I raised the motion to enable this committee to sit. I'm before the committee, and I'm saying that collection is in the motion, and I'm talking about what they did. I'm very optimistic that this committee will be able to establish beyond reasonable doubt all what happened. And if it was a levy that they did levied others, if it was money that they collected, if it was sponsorship that they collected, whatever there is, this committee will be able to establish. And for me, I think that as a member of Parliament, I've done the honest responsibility on me.
You spoke about ethics, right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Before us, you have, and when you moved the motion, you also made reference to ethical consideration. What makes you think that a rule of ethics or a principle has been breached?
Mr. Chairman, I'll be happy you refer to the Hansard and make reference to how I use it. I said when the issue came to my notice and the general public, we were concerned and worried about the ethics of it, to say that sitting proximity to president was to be paid. You have to pay to determine the proximity with which you sit, whether close or far away from the president. I thought there's an ethical issue there.
This is what you said on the floor of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this is a very worrying situation. For me, if it is established and proven, it could be a very difficult ethical issue for us as a country. But before then, you have said, Mr. Speaker, that's on same page 6, the last paragraph. Mr. Speaker, the sum had to be paid for attendees to have access to sit in proximity to the president.
The Chairman, I'm not following. I don't know where you are going.
On page 6, the left side, the last paragraph, what is against your name?
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, the sum had to be paid for attendees to have access to sit in proximity to the president.
Mr. Chairman, unfortunately, the page 6 that I have has Honorable Alhaji Muntaka. Mr. Speaker, I will want to refer the House to, I don't know which one you are, because you said the right page. Oh, the left, sorry.
Holding a different document from.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, you just gave this to me. So page 6. So you said right. No. Left. Oh, okay.
Your left.
Okay.
You said, Mr. Speaker, the sum had to be paid for attendees to have access to sit in proximity to the president. Then you continued on the right. Mr. Speaker, this is a very worrying situation. For me, if it is established and proven, it could be a very difficult ethical issue for us as a country. First, do you maintain that people paid to sit by the president?
Mr. Chairman, I thought it is beyond doubt now, because even the ministry has asserted that they've taken 2.6 million, meaning that people paid to be in that hall. And the PRO, the voice that I gave to you, and then on this Star FM with 4, also emphatically admitted that some of the people sitting around the table with the president paid $100,000, equivalent of cedis. So I think that's beyond doubt.
Flowing from what you have just said, that some of the people who sat around the president paid money and others didn't pay, does it mean people paid to sit by the president?
Mr. Chairman, it is your committee that will establish whether everybody around the table paid or only some paid. I'm only saying that at least, from what I've heard, at least one person paid 100,000, at least. So, and if you look at the sum of money collected, the ministry itself in its own statement saying 2.6 million, it means several people paid. So it is for the committee to establish how many people paid, who paid, where and where were they seated. Because if, for example, there was denial that didn't happen, and now there's admittance through the ministry's own statement that people paid money, I believe that it is not that there's no doubt about payment. But as to how many, remember in one of my submissions, I said out of 470 experts that were invited, I said even if 100 paid, how much did they pay? So I believe that is the committee work that will unearth how many paid, where were they seated, and to be able to establish all the facts. Because if I had all the facts, I would have put in it before Parliament. That was why I'm calling Parliament to form this committee, which graciously Parliament has done. It is for the committee to establish that, because we wanted to get all the facts, because the facts were coming in pieces in contradictory manner.
So you don't have all the facts?
Mr. Chairman,
I want you to confirm that you don't have all the facts.
Mr. Chairman, I've submitted to you what I have. If I leave here and the next 5 minutes I get any additional thing, I'll surely submit them to you.
I was asking a question relating to your answer, that if you have all the facts, so you don't have all the facts.
Obviously, I don't have all the facts.
That's what I would. You referred us to the definition of public resource from the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. Page 68. Public resources mean public revenue, including revenue acquired through donation, bequest, borrowing, movable and fixed asset, deposit, receivables, and rights. If what we are hearing, you have spoken about sponsorship in your evidence before us too, that the ministry says they raise a sponsorship through the foundation raise sponsorship. If that is true, where does it fall within this definition?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as I'm very sure you know as a member of Parliament, when an act is passed, you get the regulation to give you the meat and details of the act. That was why I referred you to the Financial Administration Regulation. That expatiates the act. And I referred you to Section 16 of the regulation that explains in details. And it said that anything that the ministry does, with your permission, section 16B, internal generated funds are non-tax revenue that are generated through the activities of the department. And I strongly think that this is something they've collected through the activities.
Honorable Muntaka, help us to proceed. I said, if the claim so far is a claim by the ministry that it was the Millennium Excellence Foundation that raised money through sponsorship. If that is the case, which of the revenue, public resource items listed will cover that?
Mr. Chairman, if you use the interpretation as on page 68 and you have receivables, if you use the section 16 of the Financial Administration Regulation, and it talks about activities of the department, and now you have the ministry on its 21st December statement saying that these monies were collected and official receipts issued.
You said 21st December.
Yeah, that's SB 2, paragraph 4, the last line. They said that they issue official receipts.
Paragraph 4 reads, as part of arrangements towards the organization of the event, the Ministry of Trade and Industry insisted that all monies raised in support of the event be paid into an account held by the ministry to ensure financial integrity and accountability, which the organizers agreed to. It is therefore difficult to imagine how a government institution seeking to extort monies from individuals would insist on issuing official receipts. So my question was, if it is true, as the ministry is saying here, that monies were raised by the private sector participant, which of the definitions, whether in the FAR or PFMA, will cover that transaction? That's what I want to know from you.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know how many times you want me to repeat that. They collected those monies. You remember the exhibit?
Zamudaka,
please,
answer
Chairman,
the question.
Mr. Chairman,
I've asked you a specific
you
question.
Asked the question.
Can't allow you
Mr.
to
Chairman,
go round.
You ask the question the way you want. I answer the way I understand your question. So you be patient with me to answer. If you are not satisfied, you can still ask a further question. But if I'm answering, you are interrupting me. Do you really want me to answer the question? Let me answer the question. You've asked a question. Please be patient with me to answer. If you are not satisfied, you can come again. And I'm saying that if you look at the exhibit...
Hold on. I have asked this question about 3 times, and you have gone around it the same way. And we can't continue the repetitions of asking questions and the same question. And then if you have the answer, you have it. If you don't have it, you don't go around. That's what I'm saying.
Should I answer now, Mr. Chairman? I said, if you look at the letter that was signed by the Deputy Minister for Trade, our colleague Honorable Carlos Ahenkura, and the attachment therein, they pointed to room 308, where persons should go and deposit the checks. Mr. Chairman, we should not create an impression as if they collected the money, and after they collected the money, they were asked to go and deposit somewhere. That was why we made reference to issuing government value book, such as the GCR, to cover those monies. And we have made reference to say that if you issue those official receipts to individuals, that money becomes public money. I don't know how you want me to explain this again.
You can answer your questions without being abusive.
Oh,
Or
I'm
by
sorry.
any influence. How do you want me to answer this? It means that
well, I'm sorry.
I am being difficult.
No, I'm sorry. I'm only trying to draw your...
That is the understanding I have.
Okay, then I'm sorry. That's not what I meant.
Okay, thank you. We move on. See, in an answer to a question by one of our members here, you said that if the fact that taxpayers did not make direct contribution doesn't mean there was no cost to the taxpayer. So there was cost. But would you agree that for all that a public sector organization does, there is a cost, and we don't expect a return?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Let me go back to Exhibit 2. Exhibit 2 has 4 pages, not numbered. But you made references to pages 3. That is where there's a subtitle. The full text of the statement is below.
Mr. Chairman, with a greater respect, SB 2 has 2 pages. I don't know which one. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Do you rely on the information on the first 2 pages? And the 3rd page, paragraph 2 on the 3rd page?
Mr. Chairman, all I made my reference where they cited that this was the full statement. So all my quotations were from where they said this was the full statement.
Honorable Muntaka, I said, are you relying on the first 2.5 pages also?
Mr. Chairman, no. I'm just relying, but I needed to print the whole of it so that it doesn't become like a printed part of the document.
Now, let's look at Exhibit 3. The first exhibit, the top we have criteria qualification. And at the foot, there's 1, which means page 1. You flip to the next page, there's no page 2. Can you tell us how this happened?
Mr. Chairman, earlier I was asked this question. I said, this is the document I received. And I said, if the ministry said they were not making reference to the attach, I said I had difficulty because the second part, which was headed corporate partnership, talks about benefits attached. So which benefits are these? And I also went on to say that the last but 3 pages made reference to where the checks were going to be deposited. And that was where the checks were deposited. So it is difficult for me not to believe that this attachment was not the one being referred. But I want to believe that your investigation will have to establish all that. These were all part of, in my submission, I said, these were all part of the difficulties that I have because I see inconsistencies.
Thank you. You are talking about attachments. I'll go back to the question I asked. The one that you read, that is the second page of Exhibit 3, kindly see the attached criteria. It refers to a document, isn't it?
Yes, Chairman.
how do you conclude that we invite you to support the organization and hosting of this laudable initiative with the benefits attached? Also refers to a document.
Mr. Chairman, like I said earlier, this is how it came to me. And reading them together, it makes a lot of sense to me that this way they're attached. Because the first one was talking about criteria, and when I opened to the next one, I saw criteria qualification. The one that was talking about benefits attached, when I looked up to the other one, I saw partnership categories and benefits. So it is my belief that to separate them, to say that they were not referring to each other, was a difficulty for me. So for me, that's how I see them, that you have to read them together. You can't read them separately. Other than that, where are the so-called, whether the criteria or the benefit, if these were not those that they were referring to?
You have to also help us now. Administratively, if you are attaching a document to a letter, you make reference to the particular letter. So the first one says, see the criteria attached. Right? If the intention of the author of the letter, I don't know what the intention was to attach this document that you are referring to, then the heading would have been, find attached the Jeba Government of Ghana Partner Straight Three Black Tie Event, whatever. That's the heading of it. Administratively, would that not be the proper thing to attach?
Well, Chairman, that is part of the reason why I'm calling for the investigation. Because if you look at even the letter itself, it was not page. The letter itself that was signed by Honorable Carlos Ahinkra has not been paged. So I keep saying that the inconsistency in the way the documents are part of the reason why I believe that if we investigate, we'll be able to establish beyond reasonable doubt what truly happened. Because there are a lot of inconsistencies. Like you rightly said, yes, administratively, how do you write a letter? It is not page. You are only talking about attachment. So it makes it difficult for you to be able to know which one is following what. But you reading only the content, then you try to say that, oh, does it really mean this? That's part of the reason why I'm calling for the investigation. Because I think that the letter itself creates more doubt.
Now, the flip side of the document entitled Criteria Qualification, you go to the reverse side.
Mr. Chairman, this one.
Yeah, still SB3.
Okay.
SB3.
So the sheet 3. You're talking about sheet 3.
No, sheet 2.
Okay.
But the back of it,
Where
the heading is Jeva Stroke, Government of Ghana Partner.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not with you.
Oh.
I have 3. I have sheet 1. I have sheet 2. Are you referring to sheet 2 or? Mr. Chairman, I want to be on the same page with you. I'm not getting where you are making the reference.
Sorry, you have Exhibit 3.
Yes.
Ghana Expatriate Business Awards.
I'm holding it.
I'm not referring to the main letter.
Okay.
But the first attachment.
Okay.
And the first attachment, you have criteria qualification.
Okay.
At the top.
Okay.
You go to the next page of the same sheet.
Where it is written GEBA stroke Government of Ghana Partners.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So now I'm going to take you through that. There are categories. The Presidential Circle Partner. That's the heading. The Presidential Circle Partner.
Yep.
Then we have the red circle partner, the yellow circle partner, the green circle partner, the black star circle partner. Was this not a way of categorizing sponsorship?
Well, Mr. Chairman, yes, that's a way of categorizing.
So you made reference to the first box, the presidential circle partner, especially when you said exclusive private dinner for two with president at a selected date. And you say this is in reference to the President of the Republic of Ghana?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
If you come to the second box, that's below the first box, the second bullet, dedicated waiter for ministerial circle VVIP. So which minister was it in reference to?
Come again, which one are you talking about? The red circle partner?
Red circle partner.
Yes.
We have a first bullet, right? Which starts with exclusive high round. That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But the second bullet point that says dedicated waiter for ministerial circle VVIP. I was asking which minister is it in reference to?
Mr. Chairman, I think that's what we all have to find out. Because if you are asking me, I didn't produce this document. I'm only telling you that these are the documents that have been given to the expatriate as part of what they will pay. And I'm saying that if they are talking about presidential circle, the ministerial circle, and like the chairman of the foundation said, the president was being referred to him. So I asked the ministerial, which ministers is he referring to? Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Nobody has said you produced this document, but you have supplied it. And you have spoken in reference to exclusive private dinner for two with the president to mean the president of the republic. Why can't you tell us the ministerial one? If you can tell us who that president is, then you should be able to tell us who the minister is.
Well, obviously he's referring to our ministers of state. He's referring to our ministers of state.
So now you know the answer.
No, it's not about we know the answer. I'm saying that I have presented a document and I say it's inconsistent. That is why I was calling for the probe. It is the probe that is going to establish beyond reasonable doubt what truly happened. Because I said there are a lot of inconsistency in whatever was presented. So if you're asking me, who do I think the president was being referred to? I said, I think it's being referred to the president of Ghana.
You didn't say you think. You said it is the president.
It is the president of Ghana, yes.
So you should be consistent with
it is the president of Ghana. It's the ministers of state.
And I asked you this one. You said you didn't know. Now you know.
I'm
so
saying that
we can make progress. Now that you know, I can continue.
Well, you can continue, Mr. Chairman.
So the platinum, that is the third, the yellow circle partner, green circle partner, black star circle partner will refer to which people?
Obviously, it will be referring to how far you are from the president. Because the table has been, the diagram has been attached. If we were to get them colored, you will have seen that it is in reference to how far you are from the seat of the president or the presidential circle.
I asked you, who do those categories refer to, not how far somebody is seated. For the first one, you said the president is a human being. Ministers, they are human beings. The rest, who are they? If you don't know, you don't know.
Mr. Chairman, it's referring to those who could not pay either 75,000 or 100,000.
Who are those people?
They are the experts that have been invited.
Did the ministers pay 75,000?
How will I be able to know? That is what you have to find out.
No. You see, the way we are being evasive with some of these answers. We'll leave it. When we evaluate the evidence, we'll know what value, probative value, we put on it. So I come to document titled 4, Exhibit 4. You are there?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have it.
Page 1, paragraph 3. According to Mubarak, that's referring to Honorable Muntaka, the trade minister sold access to the president at US 100,000 during the awards held on December 8 at the Movenpick Hotel in Accra. You stand by that?
This is somebody reporting. And if the person could have produced the voice that I have given to you in addition to the test, you will have found out that that's not what I said.
So you did not make that statement?
This is somebody's reporting. I didn't make this because the person is not quoting me. He said, according to.
When he says according to, it means that you have made a statement and the person is reporting.
Mr. Chairman,
it's not quoting, but it's reporting on what you allegedly have said somewhere.
Yes.
I was asking you whether you maintain that you said, no, somebody is writing that. And I asked you, did you say this? You said no.
Mr. Chairman, I said my statement on the floor is a public document which you can make reference to. I'm saying that this is somebody reporting me, reporting that I said this. Yes, I said access to the president was now to be paid 100,000 before you sit around the table. That's the document that we have. I was making reference to the document that we have. And all I said was reading what was in the document. And if somebody is reporting it and paraphrasing, yes, that the person has the right to report why a person wants to. But the person could produce my voice to substantiate that this is exactly my words. But when I made reference to this, I provided you with the voice of the interview.
My final question on this. Do you associate with this statement attributed to you by whoever the reporter is? Do you associate with it?
Mr. Chairman, yes, I said on the floor of Parliament, reading the document, and if that's the way the person is reporting it, there's access and there's $100,000 there.
So you associate with it? Simplicity?
Yes.
This question has been asked in various forms. I choose to ask it. Do you believe monies were extorted?
Mr. Chairman, I told you when it was asked earlier, I did not use the word extortion. I said monies were collected.
Some answers could be yes and no. Could be yes and no. In the official report, a copy of which you have now, page 10, the right side of it. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, the right side is you speaking. So is it the third paragraph? Page 10. Page 10. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. It's not you. It's no use speaking there. I'm sorry about that. You said in your evidence that the investigation by the president was worrisome. Is that what you said?
I said the conclusion of the president, because the presidency didn't do any investigation by my estimation.
Once you conclude that the president didn't do it, or the presidency didn't do any investigation, can you tell us what actually transpired at the presidency relating to the matter?
Mr. Chairman, I earlier made reference to the Constitution, and I said that the presidency is not an investigative body, and they did not tell us which institution they've asked to do anything. And within 48 hours, they came to say that having listened to the minister, and that was part of the document I submitted from, that was said by the Minister for Information, having listened to the minister. So I concluded based on the information they gave us that they didn't do any investigation.
And you want to confirm your earlier statement also that the president was used in raising money for the event?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, because the attachment is clear. It was in reference to the president. So it was the presidency that was used in raising this money.
The presidential circle partner, that's what you are referring to?
The statement of the ministry on the 17th December also said the whole idea after the conception started from the presidency.
I take you back to my question. You said the document attached. So I'm asking you a further question, a follow-up. That are you referring to the document that said the presidential circle partner?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Deputy Minority Leader, stop pulling my legs. Okay. Do you have anything to say, finally?
Well, I will thank the committee sincerely for your work. It is my belief that our democracy needs to be strengthened and be strengthened very well. It is my hope, and I'm very optimistic, that this committee will unearth all the happenings to be able to establish beyond reasonable doubt what really happened, so that it will help us as a people to correct the wrongs and make sure that mistakes, if any, committed, will not be repeated. But thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity to appear before you.
Thanks for attending up on the committee. You are discharged. We want to break for 10 minutes and come back, but before then, we want to acknowledge the live coverage of the proceedings of the committee by Ghana Television, Joy TV, Ghana One TV, City FM, and a host of others that we are not aware presently. When we get to know, we'll announce for listeners and viewers to get to know that we are doing that service to the nation. We are most grateful.
10 minutes.